Hello friends, my name is Raza Masood. Today we'll discuss about a topic baseline in project management. Friend, today's topic is very interesting with reference to project management, PMI, PMBOK, project management body of knowledge. And if you are a student and studying project management in university, or you are planning to give exam of PMP, so this topic is very important. And in the exam, you will see this topic. At least 4 to 5 questions will definitely be there in the exam which are directly related to the topic baseline, and your concept should be checked that of how much you know about baseline. Secondly, friend, if you are a professional project manager and working in any organization as a professional project manager, so your knowledge should be clear about baseline concept, and that how you can use the concept of baseline to measure the performance of a project. So friend, let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start. Baseline. Friend, baseline is a topic which we have taken from the PMBOK project management body of knowledge. uh, Baseline concept is that, friend, whenever we start a project, we need to measure the performance of a project. Performance measurement means that in terms of a scope, in terms of time, in terms of cost, we have to measure something. We have to measure the progress of a project. Then how you will measure the performance? Like for example, just take an example just to try to understand from the example. You initiated a project of e-commerce solution, and you baseline in the at the time of planning, when you were doing the project planning, you baseline the things that the project should be complete in 6 months and with 6,000 cost. Okay, this is your after project planning and estimation, and after taking the expert judgments and historical data, using you analyze you baseline that project should be complete within 6 months with $6,000 cost, and with for example 6 tasks should be completed, ABC tasks. Like for example, project can users can see the catalog of products, can do the payments through credit card, can do the payment through debit card, can make wish list, can compare the products, etc. So, just take for an example here, like 6 tasks should be completed in the e-commerce solution. Within 6 months, the project should be completed, and with $6,000 cost, the project should be completed. Okay, so you baseline, you plan that with reference to schedule, cost, and scope. You baseline the things. Now, after 2 months, once you evaluate the things you expected, you evaluated that already $3,000 cost already incurred, and the project is not going on the right track. Why? Because see friend, here if you are expending more than what you have planned, or if you have taking time more than what you have planned, so that means that you are not on the right track. That means you have to take the corrective action. Just try to understand from another, take the same example. You planned that the project should be completed within 6 months, and in actual the plan project was completed in 8 months. So that means the baseline was 6 months and you completed the project in 8 months. So that means you are not on the track. You have not completed on project on time. Another example, you baseline that the project should be completed in 6 with $6,000 cost, and in actual the project was completed with $8,000 cost. So that means you were over budgeted, you have expend more than the planned value, and that means that you have completed the project the with loss. So baseline in project management is clearly defined starting point for your project plan. It is a fixed reference point to measure and compare your project progress against. This allows you to assess the performance of your project over time. A project baseline especially typically has three components: schedule, cost, and scope. So you compare the progress of your project for schedule, cost, and scope after some time. See, we baseline the schedule, baseline the cost, and baseline the scope, and after some time we evaluate the performance of the project with reference to the baseline which we have planned at some earlier stage. For example, you plan that the cost should be $6,000 cost. Okay, the schedule would be 6 months and the scope would be with 6 tasks. Okay, once the project completed, you evaluated that the cost taken was $8,000 cost. So that means that you have spent it more than what you have planned. Okay, so that means the project was not completed with the good figures. One another point is that the baseline concept is also that we evaluate the progress. So at the time, at for example, the project is of 6 months, and after 2 months you evaluate it and you found that as per the baseline it is not going good, so you can take the corrective action here so that project can get back on track. uh, what are the common problems, friend, when we don't use the baseline? Friend, the first of all, schedule delays means, friend, if you don't baseline the things, the project will be off track. Off track means that, for example, if you don't baseline, if you don't plan that how much time is required to complete the project, so remember, friend, that means that project will never end. For example, if you don't schedule the things that the e-commerce project should be completed in 8 months, in 6 months for example, and you have started the project without any baseline, without any schedule, remember, friend, one thing: the project will never end. uh, if you don't have the baseline for scope, cost, and the time, so you will have lack of sufficient resources because you don't know that how much scope is there, how much work you have to complete. So obviously there will be issues in the planning of resources. Quality management problems will be there. The most important factor is that there will be problem in the monitoring of progress if you don't have the baseline. Friend, this is very necessary that the baseline should be there for scope, cost, and schedule. If you don't have those baselines in place, remember, friend, one thing: that we cannot monitor the progress of a project. Because see, friend, here the monitoring means that we should have to able to compare with the plan. If we don't have a plan in our hands, how can we compare the things? Because see, baseline means the comparison with the baseline. The main purpose of baseline is to compare the actual work with the planned work so that we can evaluate the performance or progress of a project. You plan that the project should be completed in 6 months, and after 2 months, once you evaluate it, you realize that this project cannot be completed in 6 months. So that means that you are not on the track and you need a corrective action here. Similarly, you evaluated that you planned that the project should be completed with $6,000 cost, and after 2 months you evaluate it and realize that the project cannot be completed ever with the $6,000 cost. We need a $10,000 cost, for example. So that means that you are over budgeted, you are spending more than what you have planned, and you need to revise the baseline here. So friend, just think of baseline as a purpose of comparison for scope, time, and schedule, so that you can evaluate the performance of a project, and if there is any corrective actions are required, to re-baseline the project or revise the project planning, so it should be happen as early as possible. So the purpose of baseline here is to have set targets for scope, schedule and cost, and the project progress should be evaluated with those targets. And if those targets you see that those targets are not meeting, so you have to take the corrective actions accordingly. So friend, thank you, thanks a lot for your time. I hope you like this video. If you like, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thank you, thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.